today we have a powerful Cloudism. Kind, but not stupid. It's one of my favorites, which we translate to compassion with a backbone. Let's start with what a Cloudism is. For those of you who are new to the channel, a Cloudism is a phrase that I've coined to help us mentally reframe, emotionally regulate, or spiritually connect to the now moment. They're my personal blend of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy sound bites, with a touch of nervous system wisdom, add a little bit of portable affirmation to it, and just enough slang to make them usable and memorable in real life. You'll see, they're catchy, they're corny, for sure, they're cheeky, yes, they're nerdy, of course, but you'll remember it when you need them. This one came especially out of my empath ecosystem, and it's in the Empath Leader book, because empaths in particular need a language that helps them stay kind, helps them keep their heart open without abandoning themselves. It's always the tension that we have as empaths: kind, but not stupid. There's a translation in Spanish for those of you who speak Spanish, because I've got my global community here with me. Mansa, pero no mensa. Meaning, I see what's going on. Don't think that I don't. So let's get started. Let's jump right in. You ready? PhD on Me journal? You don't have it? Go to my store, get the PhD on Me journal from the online store. All right, let's do this. So let me be very clear about something up front. Kind but not stupid isn't meant to be aggressive. In fact, in my day-to-day life, I rarely use the word stupid, even though it's been used against me. I don't mean it to be violent or shaming, and I don't mean it to be used for winning purposes. That's not what's going on here, because that's in the whole narcissist blueprint, not in the empath. I do call it the double punch, though, in this way, in the best possible way. The double punch simply means this: you do not judge another person for their choices, and you do not betray yourself to accommodate them. Those two universes can coexist, and I'm going to talk about how. So you don't criticize, you don't condemn, you don't diagnose, you don't moralize. You simply hold your own personal preferences, your standards, and your limits. And you name them, and you name them calmly to yourself, most of all. And then you moonwalk out if you need to. Moonwalk out is another Cloudism. Go look that up in the YouTube vault. So Sovereignty 101 means everyone gets to choose. I'm sovereign, you're sovereign. It's actually a core principle of emotional maturity. And we forget about that. In fact, no one teaches us that. We do in the Empath Leader book, by the way. Everyone is sovereign. People are allowed to cancel at the last minute, be inconsistent, avoid accountability, text endlessly, but never meet. Say they love you, but don't commit. Say they love you in private, but never in public. I know this might feel triggering, but let me keep going. Hold on. They can date 5 people at once. They can ignore policies. They can mock boundaries. They can live in total chaos if they want. They are allowed, my loves. And here's the part that's hard for empaths, for anyone. Their sovereignty, their choices does not obligate your participation. For example, a landlord. Let's say you have a landlord who keeps forgetting repairs. You don't have to attack them. You don't have to say you're irresponsible. What you can say is, I need a place that's safe and it's functional. And if these issues can't be resolved by this date, I'll need to make other arrangements. That's kind, but not stupid. There's no drama. There's no story, just standards. How about, for example, you might have a friend or a client even who keeps canceling. Maybe someone in your group who doesn't show up. Friend group, business group, therapy group, it doesn't matter. And let's say always thinks that that type of flexibility or space giving means that it's free. You don't have to say you're disrespecting me. You can, but you don't have to. What you can say, for example, what I say, when sessions are canceled without notice, I lose that hour. And that's why I have a policy, because it protects me. And that's not me punishing anyone. That's just accountability. And that's the core word here. Accountability is clarifying. And you know what our girl Brene Brown says? That clarity is kindness. And it's so true. How about that friend who keeps bailing on you? A friend who cancels plans over and over. You don't have to shame them. You don't have to guilt trip them. That's all shadow contract stuff, manipulative stuff, toxic. What you can say is, you know what? I value consistency and I try to stay as consistent as possible in my friendships and all my relationships. So if plans keep falling through, I'm just going to have to take a step back. And then this is what's really important. You actually do. You take a step back. You said it and you do it. Because that builds trust, right? When you say something and you do it, that means you're actually doing it seriously. Again, you're accountable to your word. That's kind, but not stupid. How about this? How about dating? How about dating today in the modern day era? Whew, what a doozy. So let's talk about it. I'm going to talk about it more, maybe in a vlog series. Let's say someone texts you every day because that's become a norm. They do the frame the day thing. Good morning, good evening, how you doing? You might be having a lot of deep conversations via text and you can feel the chemistry via text, but they won't meet. And they say things like, we'll see where it goes. Or they're dating other people while keeping you emotionally on hold. You don't have to attack and you don't have to demand. You definitely don't have to convince, jump those hoops to get something. Again, shadow contracty stuff. You could say something like, hey, I'm looking for someone who wants to build something together and in real life. If that's not where you are, totally cool, but I'm going to step away. There's no judgment on them. They don't want that? Fine. But you have your own preferences. What works for you? And then you step away. And yeah, that might be painful and it might be scary and it'll tug on your abandonment wounds. They might even say, oh, you're too serious. You're too rigid. Give me a chance. Wait a little longer type of vibes. They might even say, like, you're too much. Like, why are you tripping? Right? Like, where it's about you. And that would be them judging your preference. And listen, this is a hard truth. It is scary to have your own set of standards. Sometimes they're there to heal yourself because you have been abandoned, you have been played with, people did neglect you or were disrespectful to you as a child. So these behaviors are quite triggering as an adult. So let's not sugarcoat it, okay? Kind but not stupid is scary, especially the first few times you set down those lines. And what can happen? You could be misunderstood. You could be laughed at. You might be dismissed. They might take off. You might lose that friend. And yes, sometimes people won't rise to your standards. They have their own. That doesn't mean your standards are wrong. It just means that people are at different developmental stages. They're in different points in the healing journey. That's how I like to look at it. Maturity levels, needs, desires. Their standards come from their own woundings. We all have different wound histories, different nervous systems, different beliefs about money, time, intimacy, responsibility, different levels of healing, different relationships to authority, commitment, to care. None of that makes anyone bad, but it does mean that we're not all compatible. And that can mean in a work situation, in a friendship, with a lover, even with a parent, just relationally. Sometimes we learn that we're not compatible. So, what's the reframe, right? It's a cloudism. Let's mentally reframe this, emotionally regulate ourselves. I'm not attacking you, I'm protecting me. And I love claiming protection because a lot of us as children didn't get it. So I love being the healed adult that claims her own protection. It's got to be me looking out for me. So this is one of the most powerful shifts you can make. Instead of saying, you're harming me, you say, I don't want to harm myself. Because sometimes some relationships are you hurting you because this has happened before. It's a cycle, it's a pattern. That's self responsibility without condemning the other person for who they are. You're not accusing, my love. You are choosing. And what do we say? The freest human is the choosing human. So you're choosing to not stay in situations, even with clients, friends, family members, landlords, that feel disrespectful, that feel unkind, unreasonable, or get this, unaccountable. When someone doesn't swoop in to repair or to own their own part. Is everyone accountable? No. It's one of the hardest things to be, although it is the pinnacle of emotional intelligence. But you can be the one who's accountable. So check out the shocker. Here's the twist on this cloudism. People often assume, are you ready? This happens to me all the time, that if you're kind, you must be naive, oblivious, easily manipulated, or stupid. And when you practice kind but not stupid, it stuns people. They're shocked. They're a deer in headlights because suddenly they retrace all the steps. They realize you're observant, you read the fine print, you were clocking the pattern, you listen to your intuition more than what others are saying, you're self reflective, you're emotionally intelligent, you're strong, even though you have been abandoned, neglected. You're strong enough to walk away without burning the house down, without throwing stones at anyone. It's elegant, it's composed, it's emotionally regulated. Doesn't have to be mean or cruel, but it does has everything to do with self-respect. Oh my gosh, I want this to get through to you. Kindness is a choice. In fact, we can be incredibly smart, have incredible IQ and EQ, and still choose kindness as a demeanor and as a way of being. That's what people don't realize. They get that very confused. I think I've confused a lot of people because there's a sweet innocence to kindness that personally I never, ever, ever want to lose. Ever. So I find the ways to have my standards, my preferences, my accountabilities, but still remain mine. Self esteem, self worth, and confidence aren't built by being liked. Let me just tell you that. This is the sovereign part of the empath leader. This is where you become an empath leader. Being liked isn't the end all. They are built on being in alignment with the standards that allow you to respect yourself, my love. And kindness is your way that you choose to move through the world. I always say I have my trauma stripes. I have my EQ and IQ. I don't have to put that on display, but it doesn't mean that I'm not aware the whole time about how I'm being treated. And the DDD, the discovery, the discernment, and the decision play a big part here because then I also get to decide how do I want to treat another and how do I want to be treated. So, behind that kindness is high IQ, high EQ, a calibrated nervous system, and a very clear, thank you, internal work. Shout out inner journey, a very clear internal compass. Not theirs. You're not taking the temperature outside of yourself, yours, your internal compass. And finally, don't do this alone. I always say that. When you take those brave stances, you need places to be held, cuddled, validated, reminded that you're not too much. Because sometimes being sovereign means being misunderstood. Prepare for that. And what you'll see is that another mature sovereign empath or good hearted human will absolutely respect this and validate it and work with you. Just know that that exists as a relationship dynamic. Kind but not stupid. Moonwalk out with your heart intact and your spine, your back body straight. I'll see you in the next Cloudism.